What up, my people? This is your boy DEEJAYSAINT DJ Saint. You're watching Chatroom 101. Let's get it. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing? Pale kwa mtandao naona you guys are taking us the way it's supposed to be. Today I have an amazing guest. As always, I always have an amazing guest. He's a father. He's a husband. Grammy Award. Groove Award winner. One of the baddest producer in Kenya. And now he resides in Dallas, Texas. And guess what? Muziki bado anatupatia. And recently he became a pastor. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, grandmas and grandpas, wadau na wadaudes, please help me welcome Billy Frank. Oh, hizo ndivyo tunasema. Ni aje Bills?
Ukizoea stage, iwe inakuaga.
Oh, ndivyo inakuaga.
Kanduru uko nje. Poa sana bro.
Billy. Mazee, asante sana kwa come Chatroom 101.
Man, thank you.
It's been a minute.
Niseme tukuje saa hizi. Kabla iko sasa ni appointment tuna make.
By the hapo ndio tunaelekea by the way.
Takuwa naambia watu sisi tulianza wenda watch mwanzo.
I know mazee, how is Dallas?
Dallas kupoa man. Joto. But Dallas is good. Can't complain.
Okay.
I came to Seattle and then I'm like, man, why are they driving so slow?
Oh, for real?
Yeah, man, because we drive so fast.
You know, they say in Seattle we have crazy drivers.
Oh, not
anymore?
Not anymore.
How is wifey?
Wife akopoa. She's doing well.
Okay.
Yeah.
How is the kiddo?
And the kiddo too. Growing, running around.
Yeah.
Man, it's been a journey.
It's been a journey.
But thank God. So far,
so good.
Oh, so far.
Ministry iko aje?
Ministry kopoa. Kuskuma ministry.
Bado nakula tithe.
But nakula tithe. Tithe lazima tukule. Sasa tukula dini nyingine.
Lazima.
Some of us work full time in church.
Yeah.
Tabii tumekula tithe. Unalipa tithe wewe?
Mimi?
Yeah.
Sawa,
tuongea baadaye.
I need to grow up.
You need to grow up.
I need to grow up. But anyway, Maze, you know you're one of the pioneers in music industry. Umeshikilia industry for long.
Yeah.
And you know you're one of those guys. I think those times producers were not like today where they put their name on the track.
Yeah.
And there are so many musicians that you have produced music for. Yeah. Some of them we don't know, but you know it's Billy who produced that song.
Yeah.
So today we want to know your journey.
Yeah.
And I think mostly we have known you because of Eunice Njeri. You have worked with her for a very long time.
Yeah.
So when did you discover you can do production?
My journey with production started with Andrew Mwiru, the son to Mwiru, back when I was part of the Maximum Melodies.
Yeah. So you were part with Steve-O?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But mi nilikuanga wale wa nyuma.
So
my work was to write music and produce. And I remember we had like this keyboard and we were doing some tracks on it when we did the first song, Mwamba.
Okay.
It was actually done, the first track was actually done on a keyboard before we went to the studio. So when we went to the studio, Andrew introduced me to this gentleman, Gideon Kimanzi, the husband to Alice Kimanzi. Okay. So Gideon trained me for like a year. So that's how I started my journey with music production. You know something I wanted to do? Honestly, I wanted to be a pilot.
A pilot?
Yeah. Growing up.
Yeah.
That was my dream, to be a pilot. But then, you know, life happened.
Life happened.
Yeah, but life didn't happen. I really think that God had planned it that way because I think I've made much impact being a producer and doing what I do right now than being a pilot. So I look back, I'm saying, like, I think I like it. Okay. I'll still fly my own private jet one of these days.
Oh, amen.
So, yeah.
I have mine.
Yeah, it's out there.
Maybe. So when did you discover this is my gift I'm gonna work on it and perfect it.
I don't think there's a day nikasema this is my gift. I think because I grew up my mom used to sing, my dad used to sing. So I grew up in a musical family. So honestly, production, I just landed into it.
Okay.
It wasn't anything planned. What pushed me into it more was the interest. Because now when I started doing production, man, I was so much into it. You know, addiction. That was my addiction. Like I was like in the studio 24 hours.
Yeah.
Believe me, there's a girlfriend who left me because they're like, dude, you're always working.
Hey, yeah.
You know, because I was always working. Like literally, I was always in the studio.
24/7.
24/7.
Yeah.
I didn't have another life.
Do you remember your first song that you produced?
I do. I still have it. It's one of the songs I never released.
Why? Was it that bad?
It was bad. It wasn't something that... when I started working with Gideon Kimanzi, one of my assignments was to create a track and sing on that track every single day. So every single day I used to do one song and sing and mix it.
Yeah.
So that was my training.
Okay.
So I really had like so many songs and a part of them were training.
Okay.
So I have like a lot of songs that I never released because they were just part of training.
Okay.
Some of them are really nice. I listen to them every day. Actually, there's one I'm releasing soon.
Okay.
I did a video for it. Before I came here.
Yeah.
That song I did, that was one of my first songs when I was training.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maze, you know there's a reggae song you did.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Billy Maze, see you give us a video of this song. You did not.
Oh,
you remember that song?
The lady, she's in South Africa.
Maze, that track is dope, you guys.
Yeah, I know. And I think also the season now is gone for it.
It's gone.
Because there was a time that rhythm, is that what they call them?
Yes.
Ilikuwa imeshika.
Oh.
Like we had like even Jimmy Gate did a version of it and so many people.
Yeah.
And that was the time we did it.
Okay.
But then I don't know. It's just
Have you ever worked with a secular artist?
Yes.
How is it working with a secular artist and a gospel artist? Who is easy to work with?
I wouldn't say easy to work with. The good thing about the other guys, they pay better.
Oh, okay. Secular?
Know? Yeah.
Okay.
You know, Christians, man, is... God
will bless you.
God will bless you. Ministry. Tufanye huduma, account tufanye studio.
Yeah.
Bro, the number of songs I've done that I was never paid for.
Yeah.
Oh, so many.
Are they making money with those music? Would you see them?
Some of them. There's a lady, I did a song for her. And the next, after like a month, she sent me a text like, bro, I bought a car.
What?
Yeah. In Kenya, this song, Mungu najua, who is it?
You're the one who produced that song?
Yeah. That song became so big in Kenya.
Yeah.
And it's one of those songs, I was just kind of doing it like, I'm not really sure about this song.
Yeah.
But man, that song became so big. I used to work River Road. Yeah. I used to go to River Road. Everywhere I used to go to, that song used to play.
Wow.
And then from that song, she bought a car.
And she never gave you nothing.
Man, happy today.
Yeah. You see, but God is good.
Yeah, but God is good.
You got paid
God
with
is
ministry.
good. And another song that really I did that became so big is Napenda by Shusho.
Okay. Oh, for real?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The song became so big in Kenya, but I didn't get much money from it, but that song opened so many doors for me, especially in Tanzania. Man, after that, I started having clients from TZ, like choir coming in, and somehow God used that song to open so many doors for me. Yeah,
amazing. Can you tell us one artist you have done a song for we didn't know, and it was a big hit, but we didn't know it was you?
Well, one of them is Shusho, for sure. Napenda. So, not so many people know that I did that song.
I know. I didn't even know you have worked with Shusho.
So yeah, I did Napenda. Another song. Which other song? Because most of the guys I've worked with, they're pretty much known. The only thing I don't do the intro on my songs. Like, I have like a Billy Frank.
Bill's Boy Music.
I do my job and I let my job speak
for itself.
Instead of trying to market myself. And then also the kind of music I do, most of them are kind of worship kind of music. It's so weird to have that kind of intro on a song.
It's going to mess up the mood.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what song I've done that people didn't know that it was me who produced.
You should know one.
that means I don't have one.
Dang.
Because it seems like most of the songs I've done pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
How many are you in your family?
Actually, I do, there's a song I did for Pastor Kathy Kiuna. It became big. It's called I appreciate you, thank you for being my friend, something like that. But it doesn't have my name on the song.
On the song?
Yeah.
Okay.
On the video rather.
Did you get credits for it? For those songs?
No.
No. Hey. How many are you in your family?
We are 6.
6?
Yeah.
Mzee alikuwa anacheza?
Oh man.
One after the other.
Me only have one and I'm like, man, how did you manage 6?
When wangapi kwenu?
So I have 2 people ahead of me. I'm right in the middle. Then I have 2 sisters down.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you told your parents you want to be a producer, what did they say?
I didn't tell them.
You did. They just.
But that. So I left home so early in life. My parents decided to divorce or something like that.
Okay.
So when that happened, I left home.
Okay.
At a very very early stage. At that point, I wasn't even doing production. I was leading worship in church.
Oh, okay.
So one of the pastors took me in, and I was leading worship in the church, and that's how they pay my school fee.
Oh, okay.
That time I was in Kayole. So I stopped leading. They took me from Homa Bay, brought me to Nairobi. It was part of Maximum Miracle Center.
Okay.
So I used to serve there, lead worship every single day, Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
And they pay my school fee.
Okay.
So I left home. My parents didn't even know I was a producer until way later.
Wow.
Life. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That has been a journey.
Yeah,
How is it working with Eunice and Jerry?
So one thing that I've loved working with Eunice is I think we built a friendship from the word go.
Okay.
And this is a funny story. Most of the songs we've done with Eunice was actually out of desperation. Man,
Tell us.
We used to struggle in Kenya, you know, like this song Nguvu ya Msalaba. That song, me and Eunice, we always call it rent money.
Okay.
I didn't have money for rent. And then I called Eunice, man, do you have a song I produce, you pay me? Yeah. Then we did Nguvu ya Msalaba. Then she gave me 10,000 to pay rent in some apartment in Kayole. So that's how we ended up with that song. But then it became a very good song, a very big song. But and the other song that we did with Eunice that were really literally out of desperation, like, man, I'm so broke. Do you have a song? Come to the studio. So me and Eunice, we've had that kind of friendship of, you know, yeah, I have a song, let's do it, get some money, you know, yeah.
I think one of the song I like is it Umeniweza?
Umeniweza, yes.
That song, Mazee, I love it.
It's probably
Unaweza
one of my
ikumbuka?
favorite. Yeah.
Can you give us a cappella kidogo?
Umeiweza, let me get the right key.
Get the right key. Nieke F ama G.
Umeiweza roho yangu, Yesu umeiweza. Umeiweza roho yangu, Yesu umeiweza.
Mazee, that song
was
blesses
really
me a lot. I love that song.
That song was really it's probably...
Even that one you recorded out of desperation?
No. So that's the first song I did with Eunice.
Okay.
It was the first song. So what happened with Eunice, she came to the studio where I was working. At that time I was actually training. Okay. And so Eunice was recording with another guy. But I kind of felt like, man, a song sounded more choir-ish.
Yeah,
you know, those days. And I'm like, growing up listening to a lot of choir music, I didn't like choir music. Okay. And so I think one of the one days, I can't remember like the details of how we ended up in the studio with her, but somehow we ended up in the studio with Eunice. Then I ended up recording that song. Okay. And then that's how it just became one of our biggest songs. So it was actually a trial and error kind of thing because I was training then. I wasn't even doing production. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. But then it was one of those songs, man. I think that song I gave it everything.
Buda huko ifikiria kukatia Eunice hizo miaka zote?
Sikufikiria.
Mbona?
Eunice ni sister.
You broke just like that.
You know, like, man, there's some people they become really good friends, and it's really hard to shift that part of just looking at them at that's my sister right there. Okay. And thinking about dating them and everything, but she's a wonderful woman for sure.
Definitely. Yeah. I love her voice. Yeah, she's amazing.
She's anointed.
Do you remember how much, like, your biggest check you ever received as a producer?
Production in Kenya? That time, I think probably 280. Yeah.
What did you spend it on?
Man, I can't even remember.
You misused the money?
Yeah, and that time, that was a lot of money then.
I can imagine.
Oh,
200K
I know what I did with them.
Mm-hmm.
I bought studio equipment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
I bought
good
studio
businessman.
equipment. I remember buying a microphone and two studio speakers.
Okay.
And actually, that's how I started my own studio in Kenya.
Oh.
That's where the money came from. Because before I was employed, I was working with Kasanga.
Okay.
He had a studio, probably one of the best studios in Kenya. It's called Studios.
Yeah.
So when I got that money, and I did that project outside the studio.
Okay.
Because when I was employed, most of the work, the money was going through the company. So me, I'm just being paid salary,
Oh, yeah.
And I think it was 8,000 a month when we started. Then it moved to 10,000 a month.
Yeah.
Which was not much money. But then I had this client who came to me and they were doing a project.
Yeah.
And then they were like, man, we have like this. It was like two albums of I think 12 songs each. And we came up with a deal, and they paid me, and I bought my equipment, and that's how I started production.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Now let's talk. You relocated. You came to States.
Yes.
And you're still doing production.
Yeah.
What was your culture shock?
So one of the first thing when I came to the US, away from production, I went to Walmart one of these days to to grab some stuff.
Yeah.
And then this lady was checking me out, and then she was like, "Hi, sweetheart," and I'm like, "What? I don't know you like that."
Yeah.
But then I came to realize it's just a culture, back those days in Kenya, if someone calls you those names, they're after something.
Definitely.
Ile song Jimmy Geta aliimba inajitaje? Mwadhara.
Mwadhara. Tiga nega ningepata na mwadhara.
In your mind, you're like, oh man, wait, madam mzima anaita sweetheart. What's up with that?
Yeah.
So that's one of the things. Another thing that I did, I was in the US. I didn't have a driver's ATL that time. I was in Kansas.
Yeah.
And I was driving. Then one day, man, nikajipata on the wrong side of the road.
Ooh.
Like I'm like, no, niko tu sawa. Like, I have no idea how that happened. But man, you are driving and you're seeing cars coming. Like, where are you guys going? I think then you're like, oh man, you're on the wrong side of the road.
Wow.
So that's one of those things funny thing that happens.
Okay.
But other than that, nothing really major that I can say. Culture shock as much. Because sikuwa mshamba sana nikikuja.
Oh, wait, in Kenya, were you a worship leader?
Yes.
In Kenya?
Yeah, I was, yeah.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, I was.
So what's the difference between Kenya being a worship leader in Kenya and States?
That's a good question. So when I moved to the US, one thing I actually did and say that I'm going to do this as a career.
Okay.
Because in Kenya, I used to lead worship, but it was more of ministry.
Okay.
Tulikuwa tunapewa transport ya kupanda mat, and you're in church every single day, man, and you're leading worship and all this kind of thing. And the first church I was in, they helped me because they paid my school fee. So the entire time I was there leading worship, they were paying my school fee. So that's how I really went from Form 1 to Form 4. Because they paid my school fee.
Yeah.
But then after that, it was more of shika cafe, ka 250, ka 250 hapa, ka 250 pale, transport. But then I got into production, so I was making most of my money through production.
Okay.
But then when I moved to the US, it was different because I realized that I'm not going to be able to do production full time like that because I'm still new.
Yeah.
People don't record as much in the US, especially our people.
Yes.
When you get one client today, another client tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it's not something like you can completely rely on. So I decided to do worship as a career full time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. When I was growing up,
in
our days, ministers were being not even appreciated. Serving, as you said, ministry.
Yeah, ministry.
Now we have Mungu akubariki.
Yeah.
And it's something that even musicians in Kenya, they have been complaining about.
Yeah.
Like churches don't like to pay them.
Yeah.
Do you think worship leaders and instrumentalists should be paid by the church?
Absolutely.
Especially if they serve full time.
Absolutely. Because it doesn't make sense if the pastor is serving full time and the pastor is salaried.
Yeah.
If I'm serving full time in church, I'm always there Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything else.
True.
So I'm giving you my time. I think it's just good act of faith for you to pay me.
Yeah.
Or hire me as a full time worship leaders.
Yeah.
one thing I did when I moved to the US, I did a lot of research, and a lot of churches here, the worship leaders work full time in church.
Yeah.
They're actually salaried. Just the same way you can be employed by Walmart.
Yeah.
You have all their benefits. You have all the vacation hours.
Yes.
In the church. That's like something new. It was so different for me because in Kenya we didn't have anything like that.
Nothing.
You didn't even have vacations.
Yeah.
You're always in charge. You know?
Yes, 24/7.
Vacation ya nani? Kuna service. You know. So yeah.
Okay. That's dope.
Yeah,
So now
Yeah.
you're in States, umekaa miaka kidogo, you're married.
Yes.
Hey, how is marriage life, my guy?
Marriage life is good, man.
It's good.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah?
Oh yeah.
Do you wish you could have married earlier?
I don't think so.
You were not
because
ready.
I think I wasn't ready.
Okay.
I wasn't ready then to get married. And I know that now because marriage is not as easy as people think.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of ups and downs. And if you get into it, if you're not ready, you're gonna have too much issues.
Yeah.
In marriage. And also my perspective of the kind of person I want to get married to was wrong.
Okay.
Because those days, like 5, 8 years ago, you know, growing up in the limelight and all this kind of thing, you are always going for a certain kind of a woman, a certain kind of a look, because that's what you see in all these movies, and everyone around you is dating these yellow skinned ladies, and you think, oh, the magazine, Rangetao, you know, but it doesn't work. It doesn't necessarily work in marriage. Yeah. You can get that, but still won't work. So if I got married then, some of the people I dated then, man, ningekuwa
umechoma.
Ningekuwa nimechoma, bro. Ningekuwa nimechoma long time ago, you know. Yeah. I mean, you know my story.
I do.
Yeah. You know my story.
We'll, because of their consent. Tutaenda huko. So, hey, mazee umenitoa trade of thought. Dameje hiyo swali ilikuwa mzuri.
Oh. Acha nikurudisha.
But before itarudi tu. Imerudi.
Okay.
Between you and your wife, who is petty?
Define that.
Nani yako petty kwa maisha, kwa marriage, kati yako na wife? Nani anakuwaga mtiaji?
Probably me.
Oh, you're the pettiest.
Probably me.
Can you remember one petty thing you've ever done? You pissed her off.
So one of the things my wife doesn't like the doors being left open.
Oh, okay. The main door?
No, just any other doors in the house. You know?
Yeah.
Especially now with our son being there, because the guy can go to the toilet, but kana kunya maji ya choo.
Yeah.
You know? And somehow I always forget to close the doors. I remember so many times, like, man, why do you always leave the doors open?
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, just live with it like that.
Yeah.
You know? Because me, like, literally, even our bedroom door, I've never closed our bedroom door.
Serious?
For the longest. I usually leave the bedroom door open.
Hey.
You know, so when we got married, and then now she came, and then the doors had to be closed all the time.
Oh,
and then you're like, man,
I'm not used to this life.
I'm not used to this. And first of all, so when ulikuja huku ni kwa itabidi tu umeshika phone.
Itabidi follow the routine.
But it doesn't work like that. You mean I follow routine.
That's true. She's the boss.
Oh man, she's the boss.
She's the boss.
She's nafuata. Okay. Nabi unataka?
Yeah. So which church song describes your marriage?
Church song.
Describes your marriage.
I don't think I have.
Bill, you should have us. You're a producer and a musician. You should have a song that describes your marriage.
Let me tell you something funny. You know, it's easier to think that because someone is in production, they listen to a lot of songs.
Yeah.
Man, if I gave you the kind of songs I listen to, you'll be so surprised. I listen to a lot of old country music songs.
Old country music?
Yeah. Like
tufunge hii kitu. Country music. That's really my thing. I'm more into you know, good recorded music. Oh,
so
okay.
You'll never find me at home listening to.
Are you saying Kenyan music hawafungi muziki vizuri?
No. They're good. But I'm talking about the audiophile kind of music. You know?
Okay.
Things. That kind of music, audiophile kind of music. So that's what I'm into most of the time. Because I stay in the studio so much. When I'm out of the studio, I want to listen to something more relaxing. You know, and kind of just something more detail oriented kind of music.
Okay.
That's so many people don't listen to as often. So I can give you like a list of people I listen to. Some of them you don't even know, you never heard them. There's a big list of yeah. So
yeah, do you listen to any Kenyan songs?
No.
Leo nataka uende usikize Anguka Nayo.
Just because umesema hivyo hata jina Anguka Nayo I don't think.
Na kuna ingine inaitwa Kudade.
Yeah.
Ni kali.
I don't listen to a lot of Kenyan music. It's very.
Did you come to States and then you changed?
No, even back in Kenya.
You never used to listen to Kenyan music?
Barely.
Wow.
Not in a bad way. You know, like especially for example, being in production, you listen to all these songs all the time.
Yeah.
But when I'm home, that I want to listen to music, it's not something I'll go for. I used to listen to Willie Paul a lot. Not a lot, but there's few songs that I like. There's Willie Paul. Like when I want to, hype myself.
Hype yourself, yeah. Have you listened to his album?
Yeah, I did.
Which is your favorite song on that album?
There's one, is it called...
I like the one they did na ule mtizedi. Inaitwa na something.
Yeah, that's the one I was...
That song, right?
I was thinking boom, boom, boom. It's na.
Oh, it's
yeah.
na.
I'm like, wait, is it boom, 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 na? Yeah, that's the song.
No, ni na.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. I expected Nani, the one he did with anaitwaje udem. Kuna dem Jamaica wamefanya na yeye, but I wish she sang in Pato instead of Swahili.
Yeah,
that would have been dope.
Yeah, so once in a while I'll jump and watch Willie Paul's music, some of the old ones too.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
If I want to hype myself, other than that, man, I barely listen to a lot of music from Kenya. Nothing wrong with Kenyan music. It's just not what I'll go for when I want to relax and listen to music.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's dope.
Yeah.
What's your biggest regret in ministry?
My biggest regret in ministry is honestly that a point in life I wish I matured faster. Because when you're in leadership position and in ministry, the worst thing that you can do is to hurt people along the way. Yeah. And it's church. Then someone leave church because you did something they didn't like, or, So I've had those moments. At times I wish I matured longer some time back. Yeah. I could have avoided so much. Okay. Honestly, part of it is not a blame game, but I think the mentorship aspect of it, because the way leadership is done at times when we were growing up, it was different. Yeah. I've learned a lot about leadership being in the US and how to deal with people, how to handle people with grace. I was really tough kind of a guy in terms of ukifanya ujinga wewe umeenda. But it doesn't have to be like that. Yeah. So you end up hurting people along the way just because you're not mature enough to figure out how to handle them in a mature way. Yeah. So that's one of the things I can tell you for sure. That's like, because I know some of them I can look back and like, man, that I should have done that better. Yeah. Okay.
There is this thing you guys do in praise and worship time, right? In church, right? Yeah. Manze, you guys repeat song like 5 times. What's the problem? So repeating.
Trust me, that is one of the things I hate so much. If you notice, if I was gonna do a song, I'll do a song exactly the way it was done. Yeah, I shall tell people the reason why that song wasn't repeated like the same verse wasn't repeated like 8 times, because you won't even listen to it like that. True. So I try to do the song exactly the way it was done in the studio, the original version of the song. If the chorus is 2 times and the song ends there, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I know people usually say, I was being led by the Spirit to keep repeating and repeating. And I mean, that's okay if that works for you. But for me, it doesn't, because again, when I'm leading worship, I also have to look at my congregation. Yes. How they responding to the song. Yes, I may like the song, I want to keep looping the chorus like 6 times. Yeah. But now they're sitting down because they're bored. Like, dude, can you move to the next song? You know? So
we are busy.
You have to figure out how to balance. So that's the thing. I know what you mean by that thing. And it's especially Kenyans. Maze. Yeah. We like repeating songs, especially like, the verse. We'll repeat the verse.
You can repeat like 10 times. Bro.
Song is the song is 15 minutes long.
Maze, you're like, hata uroho ameshuka ameboeka.
I feel you, bro.
Yeah.
I feel you, bro.
Manze, I wish. So, yeah, yo kitu yo ni senior though.
I think part of it is we normally have this mentality. If something is catchy, we want to do it over and over and over again. What you don't realize that eventually people get bored.
Yeah.
The easier way to do something is, if it's catchy, make it short. People will want to come back for it.
Yeah.
But if the first Sunday, umeimba yote, next Sunday ukiimba tena, haitakuwa na the same psych, you know? Like, man, last Sunday you ulifanya the same song like twice.
Yeah.
You know, so you are good. Yeah.
What inspires you to be a producer and a worship minister?
With production, one thing I like being I like about being a production, doing production, is the aspect that I'm able to identify someone's gift and bring that gift out of them.
Yeah,
man, that's my biggest joy. Being able to figure it. There's something. Listen to a song that you did, and you're like, man, I actually did that.
Yeah,
like these people, they came, they didn't have anything, and I helped them to become that. That's my biggest joy. Just seeing someone else flourishing in their gifting and their calling. And it's funny that so many people that I've worked with have done better than myself. And that makes me happy.
Okay.
I go to bed smiling.
Nice.
Yeah.
You like it, you're like,
yeah,
I did a good job.
Yeah.
How do you balance being a worship minister full time, being a producer full time, being a dad, and being a husband?
So the production and the worship kind of
go the same?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I work in church Tuesday to Friday, and I have a student church.
Oh, okay.
And church life is not, I create my own schedule.
Oh, so you're the boss?
I'm not the boss. I have a boss, but in terms of my schedule, I create my own schedule.
Yeah.
So I can easily tell, like, okay, this week I need to take care of this and this and this. How many hours do I need to take care of this? So I kind of plan myself, then the rest of the days I'm in the studio.
Okay.
Because again, you know, you being a worship leader, you don't lead worship on Tuesday. I lead worship on Sunday.
Okay.
So Tuesday to Friday, I have time that I'm doing other stuff that is not worship related. Actually, most of my time in church, I do other stuff that is not even worship. We clean.
Oh, okay.
You know, make sure everything is working. Plan for the service.
Yeah.
We are not on stage. We're only on stage for 2 hours. Yes. Actually, our service is short, an hour and a half, and we are done with the service.
Yeah.
But we do a lot of preps during the week into that. So I can easily manage my time.
Okay.
With being a husband and a wife is easier. At first it was hard when we got married because I used to work. I like working at night.
Okay.
So when we got married and my wife's like, man, you have to be in bed by 10.
Yes.
Now I grew up in that kind of an environment whereby I'm the one who gives instructions. So when I'm nakuja bed 10.
That was a problem.
That was a problem. Like, I remember us having a fight on that. I'm like, man, you can't be telling me what time to come to bed.
Yeah.
But it's just a mentality because most of my life, like literally when I was in Primo high school, I've always been in leadership at some capacity. So I'm used to telling people. And now being a producer, it's even worse because when I'm away, you can't sing, go back home. And now you're married, then you are like,
someone else is
come to bed at 10. Come to bed at 10. Dude, I have work to do until 2, 3. I'll come to bed at 3. So the first time of marriage, it was kind of tough. Then she got used to it nowadays. I can stay. But I'm only allowed to stay late twice or 3 times a week.
Oh.
Beyond that, no.
Those are the only days you cannot do the fellowship.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. You can do the fellowship and then go to the studio. Maliza biashara uende. The problem with that though, especially like people are creative, then I can't concentrate because I'm thinking ile track inafaa kwa inaiva sahi.
Why is it like you guys like working at night? Because even musicians they like working at night.
I think for me is because I do better at night.
Okay.
I don't do better in the morning. Like waking up in the morning and then trying to do production, man, doesn't work for me.
Okay.
At night, and also our voices. So this is another thing. Your voice do better towards the end of the day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. For some people, they're always good 24 hours, but there are people at night they sing better, and also you are kind of more relaxed. There's not so much distraction outside, so that's why we tend to do so much work at night.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's just kind of fun just working at night. Yeah.
Okay. What is one thing your wife don't know about you?
That's a good question. One thing my wife doesn't know about me.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow. I have to think about that. Let me see.
You must have something.
But sasa nikisema tutakuwa najua.
Sasa utatafuta ingine next time.
Man, I'm trying to think, what does my wife doesn't know about me? Man, I can't think of something.
You can think of it.
Yeah, I can't think of something. Honestly, I think I don't have like a complex life like that. I've lived a simple life. For the most part, I'm not the most outgoing person.
Yeah.
So I don't have like
guy.
Me, I'm just an indoor kind of a guy. So my life has really been simple. I don't have so many people around me.
Okay.
I have a very small group around me. So I don't have like a lot of crazy stories.
Okay.
That something I can come and say, oh, this and this my wife doesn't know about me.
Oh.
Yeah, because you know we talk, tunapiganga story huku na pale. At times unamwambia hii, oh, this and this happened. I can't think of anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is something irritating she does that irritates you?
So my wife like eating chips at night when we're watching, like after dinner. It's kind of more relaxed. We're just chilling. Anatoka ka chips.
Yeah.
And then
Sasa mna watch movie.
Yeah. And I have a problem with certain frequencies, especially if someone is chewing. I can't stand that.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I think because being in the studio for so long, that frequency, that high frequency, like literally, if I'm watching a movie and people are kissing, I'll forward.
Serious?
Yeah. Because I can't.
Hapo ndio mchuzi inafika pale.
Oh, man, I can't stand that.
Oh, serious?
Yeah. It kind of irritate. I can't even explain it.
Really?
But I did a research. Nikaona there's a name for it. You know, you America, everything has a name.
Yeah. You are sick actually.
Yeah.
You need medication.
Apparently, man. So I did some research on it, and I realized, actually, it's actually a thing.
Yeah.
There are people who struggle with those kind of things. But part of it is also ADHD. Because I have some mild symptoms of ADHD, so that usually happen. The things that irritates you.
Yeah.
So because even my wife, she can't stand the noise of a fan, like the AC things. I'm a fan of a laptop. She can't. If it kicks in, she'll figure out something to make sure that goes away.
Make sure you buy her MacBook.
Yeah. So just the same thing. So that's one of the things my wife likes doing, and she loves eating those chips, man.
Oh yeah.
Because that's a way of relaxing.
Relaxing.
Yeah. So at times I just have to vumilia.
Yeah.
But nikishindwa, I just take headphones and put headphones and listen to some music.
What about the movie?
A movie itaendelea tu. And then I'll catch up with the movie.
You'll catch up with the movie
when she's done. But you know, again, and nowadays, our movies, you can always tell where the movie is going to without even watching.
Yeah. What kind of movies do you watch?
I like movies that involve the army. That someone actually dies, people being killed, no guns. I like movies that has a lot of car racing.
Okay.
So that's a thing for me. Yeah.
Which is your favorite worship song?
I don't have a favorite worship song.
None?
No.
Why? You should have one, but
I think for me, because for the most part is seasons.
Yeah. Okay.
So I can't say that this is my favorite worship song. It will be for a season, but when that season is over, something else will come. There's a time Jaira was one of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
But then that season ilienda. And because I think the songs that comes during a season that you are in, but then after a while it's no longer the theme.
The theme,
So you long for more.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I wouldn't say that I have like this specific song that's a worship song that I usually go to.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you keep your worship service fresh and engaging?
That's a good question. So honestly, the only way to do that is prayers. Yeah. It's especially for us who serve in church. It's easier to serve in church and not have a walk with God.
Okay.
Very easy, because you're always there. You think that because you're serving in church, you're serving God, but not true. So it's easier to get in church every single day, and you realize, man, it's been a month since I've been opened my Bible.
Yeah.
Because I'm always in church all the time, you know. So one thing I've always tried to do is to always make sure that my walk with God, my intimacy with God is growing.
Yes.
Growing and edifying myself. I mean, that's the only way. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are some of the common challenges you face as a worship leader?
So one is knowing the heart of your pastor and try to be obedient to that.
Okay.
Because, you know, at times we get drawn to kind of music like David King, Pastor D, like Seben.
Yes.
I don't do Seben. It's not a thing for me.
But you used to love
I
Seven
used
when
to.
you were in Seattle.
I used to.
What
Something
changed?
happened.
You have grown.
I've grown. I've
So
grown.
David King needs to grow.
No, but you know, David King is in Akutu Sawa.
Yeah.
Because Pastor loves Seben.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, where I go to church is not a Seben kind of environment. So we don't do those kind of Seben kind of music.
Yeah.
And also over time, because I stopped listening to that kind of music, eventually inakutoka.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's not like something like I'm so much into like doing Seben music. But so imagine if my Pasi was a Seben kind of a guy, but me I don't like Seben.
Yeah.
Now we start clashing
There'll be
because anakwambia. So
I
like
need
for
a
example,
Seben.
my Pasi like anapenda hymns. I'm not into hymns.
Yeah.
Because I grew up with them and I struggle with hymns because one of the reasons the church I used to go to, my mom's church when I was a kid, they used to sing the same hymns every day.
Oh.
But they still read it. And back one day I asked my mom, how long does it take you to cram those words? You read you have to take the book.
The Golden Bell. Remember they had a different song.
Yeah, that book and read it.
Yeah.
The same songs every single day, and you all these years you haven't crammed those songs.
Yeah.
Up to now you still have to read them. So I kind of hated the hymns.
Yeah.
Because for me they were just so boring growing up. You know,
Yeah.
the kind of thing I was drawn into. So growing up now, I'm not so drawn into hymns.
Yeah.
But my bishop loved hymns. So because also we have like that older generation in
Okay.
our church,
Yeah.
like shows, and they connect with that. So once in a while I have to throw in a hymn, and that was a struggle for me because they want us to do hymn, but I'm like, man, who's doing hymns?
This is old school.
You know. But
Yeah.
then I have to remind myself, you have to be obedient. to
Yeah.
this. So that's one of the challenges, just knowing the heart of your pastor, what they like, and see how you can fit in. Because that's honestly, it's easier for you not to be there than try to force yourself being there and you don't fit in. Then you
Yeah.
realize, man, we are not compatible.
Okay.
Yeah. Then sasa inakuwa kikwazo back and forth. Yeah. Yeah.
So there has been an issue here in Seattle.
Okay.
So many young folks, they are not catching up with their pastors or the church. Like the pastors are not accommodating them
Yeah.
in their service or in church. They feel left out.
Yeah.
As a young worship pastor, what are you doing in your church to accommodate them in your service?
So it's actually what I did.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So,
What did you do? Maybe you
yeah.
can give our pastors advice.
So when I went to the church, my church in Dallas, I was there for 6 months.
Okay.
Then I left. The reason why I left because it was so different.
Yeah.
Everything they did was only focused not so much into the older people.
Okay.
You know, and I had a problem with that because my concern was if I'm gonna stay here longer and you're not investing in the young people, eventually, and I notice a pattern. Most of them at some age they leave.
Yes.
They don't after the youth church. After some time they leave. They don't come to the youth to the main sanctuary.
Yeah.
So I started kind of finding out like what's the problem, and one of the things was music.
Okay.
The kind of music we do in church, the Kigosho kind of music, the Seben, they don't connect with them.
True.
So as much as we want to force it on them, some of them are not even born in Kenya. They were born here. They don't know anything. They listen to hip hop, you know, and different kind of music. So we are trying to force something into them. Quote unquote, we are trying to teach them our culture.
Yeah.
But you're teaching them your culture, but you're losing them along the way. So which one is more important for them to actually grow? And again, so like now, I'm a father.
Yes.
My biggest goal is not to teach my son Luo. It's not like my biggest thing.
Yeah.
The guy will never live in Kisumu.
True.
For the rest of his life. So I don't need him to learn what I know about everything and about my culture because he'll never live there. And to get him ready for the future life in the US.
Yeah.
So that's one of the mistakes is we focus so much on trying to not entertain, but trying to minister to the older generation that we forget that these young people are here. You'll be so surprised how many parents come to church every single day, but their sons and daughters won't come to the same church.
Many.
many. And that's a problem already. That's a big problem in our culture. If they can't come to a church, you need to ask yourself why. What is it that we are doing in our church that these people can't fit in? Because if I'm a father, my goal will be for my son to fit in here. I want to do something that I'm happy with, but then I'm losing them. Because most of us, most of the people in church, especially that our parents and everything, honestly, even without the church, they'll still go to heaven. But these kids, if you don't invest in them right now, we are losing them. So one thing we did, to answer your question, is we changed our kind of music. And that's why we do the kind of music we do. And after we started doing that, we started seeing a lot of young people coming to church. Because these are the kind of songs they listen to every single day on the radio. So wakikuja church, they listen to a different kind of music. They don't even know Swahili. They don't even connect with them. But then at home, they listen to K-Love. So we started doing songs that connect with them more. And that was a problem. Doing that transition was a real problem. I remember that time, my bishop, he got to a point, actually left, because I'm like, I don't think we are compatible. You know? And I left, and I went to Kansas. I went to Kansas, then I went to Atlanta. Then they called me back. So, but when they called me back, I came with a plan. I'm coming back if this and this is gonna change. Otherwise, if you guys want to do Kigosho, that's okay. I don't have a problem with that. Because that was the thing. They did a lot of Kigosho music.
Because they're old school. They're OGs.
OGs, you know. And there's nothing against Kigosho music. True. But what about that person who's not a Kigosho, who doesn't understand Kigosho? What about them? How do they fit in that culture? And that's a big problem in our churches, especially Kenyan churches. I really think that God brought us to the US to be ambassadors. Think about it like this. If the people who came to preach the gospel in Africa, they came and then all they did was not fitting into what the people we are back those days. I think we're a gospel. The reason why we listen to them is because wale fit kwa culture yetu. We do it the other way around. We come to the US, then we bring our culture from there into the US and expect them to fit in.
That's sad.
So the first thing we did was to do away with the Kigosho music and things like that. We kind of tried to make the church look a bit modern, something they can fit in. And right now, our media team, most of the guys who serve in the media team are the young people. Most of the people who serve in lighting department, sound, are young people. We don't have that older generation, they're gone. Like I have literally younger kids who serve in the media. So they only did that because now they can fit more into the church. And actually, funny enough, today, I feel like our pastor sent a text message that today they had almost 120 young people in the youth church. That's the highest number we've ever had. So that means something is being done right.
That's true.
What we're doing is attracting the young people.
That's dope. You dropped a new banger called Yeshua. As we wind up, let's talk about it. I would like to know the writing of it. How did you come?
This is so funny. Pastor Steve. Pastor Steve came to visit me at home maybe like a month or two, something like that. And then we were in the studio and we were just talking. And then he was like, man, you need to do music. You need to go back to doing music.
I know, I've been telling you the same thing.
I know, right? So we had like a lengthy conversation with Pastor Steve. And then after that, I'm like, okay, let's go back and do this. I've been trying to get away from doing that kind of music because I also struggled with it for a while. You know, just writing Swahili songs and getting something that works for me. Because honestly, I don't do music for views. If I can tell you I have so many songs that I've done that I never released.
Billy, you're rich.
If it doesn't work,
well, unajua wenye tuna struggle Kenya wewe kupata views.
But you see, the thing is, I look at it more from a perspective of I'd rather someone tell me, man, your song really blessed me. Than someone like, oh man, your songs have so many views.
True.
That doesn't help me much, you know. God can provide another way, and those views will come. Of course, I want some money from YouTube for sure.
But you have done it. I saw it has like 1 point something in 6 days.
By now, it should be maybe 20,000
I can imagine. So, but it's a dope. Umefunga hiyo kitu, by the way.
Thank you. So that has been a thing. It's not a struggle for me. It's just like where my heart is.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't do songs so that I can get views.
Okay.
And if I don't, and that's why I don't do a lot of songs like that. If I don't have it, I don't have it. And my songs are more inspired than, I don't write songs. I don't sit down and start writing songs.
Yeah.
Mine, they come. It's more over. I'm being inspired to do this. Then a song. God will put a song in my heart. Other than that, that's why I can stay for a year without having a song.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why did you name it Yeshua?
Because the end part of the song actually is Yeshua. So that's how the name came.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Should we expect more from you now, since you have started doing music?
By the grace of God, yes.
So, can you give us when you're gonna give us another project?
Oh,
Because Billy umekawia, man.
This week,
it's been long, man.
There's a song coming out this week.
Oh, this week?
I even have a video. The guy sent me the video yet to preview.
Okay.
Yeah. It's one of the first
My
songs.
request.
Yeah.
Can you do one hype song?
Hype song.
Yes. And then, once you do it,
Yeah.
please come to Seattle. My producer will shoot that video.
Okay.
But we are expensive. We have to save some money for us
Hype
to
song.
produce. We need one hype song.
I thought Yeshua was hype a bit.
Not yet. It's
Yeah.
still a worship kiasi.
Yeah.
But I love it. But
Yeah.
lakini yo Buddha, Buddha hiyo kitu umefunga hiyo.
Thank you.
By the way, make sure you go to YouTube and check Yeshua by Billy. It's a dope song. It's a very dope song. So you're releasing another song in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. It's called Tazamia.
Okay.
It's one of the oldest songs I did.
Okay.
What made me release that song was the death of Bishop Alena.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how those two connected, but I know how they connected because I remember when I met Bishop for the first time, I was in a very, very dark place.
Okay.
Then we sat down for like 30 minutes. We talked and everything. And he kept telling me to Tazamia Bwana. So that's how that song came. So that day I met him, I went to the studio.
And you
And I
wrote?
did the song.
Oh.
But then I never released the song.
Okay.
Until when he died. Then when he died, I remember our first meeting with him and our conversations. I'm like, man, that song, I'm
It
gonna
would
let it
have
go.
been nice if he listened to that song,
I
knowing
know.
you inspired him.
I know. I think, yeah. I don't think he did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is the last thing you'd like to tell your fans?
Man,
Looking at that camera right there.
that camera right there, man.
Yes.
Truthfully, let's keep serving God. There's a reward for it.
Okay.
I know life can be challenging at times. We are young people. We struggle with a lot of things.
Yeah.
The best gift you can give yourself is love yourself and love God and love others. And be kind to yourself.
Okay.
We make a lot of mistakes around the road.
Yeah.
One thing I've learned to do lately in my life, man, is to be graceful with me.
Okay.
Yeah, we make a lot of mistakes along the road.
That's true.
And getting to that point whereby I know this was a stupid decision, a stupid mistake I did.
Yeah.
But forgive yourself, keep moving. God has your back.
Okay.
Yeah.
One last one.
Yes,
No more question after this. There is a young person looking at you right now.
Yeah.
A male or a female, and they want to do. They want to be worship leaders and make it as a career.
Yeah.
What advice can you give them?
The only way to toboa as a worship leader
Yeah.
is, one, be prayerful. Man, you'll never go any far if you're not prayerful.
Yeah.
As a worship leader, be prayerful, and learn to trust God in terms of song decisions. I don't sit down and just decide, song gani.
Yeah.
I pray about it, and then after I pray about it, when I make a decision, I know that decision is backed up by the prayers I did.
Yes.
So that is from being a perspective of, a church context. I don't just sit down and decide, okay, this song, song.
Yeah.
So be prayerful, learn to rely on God in terms of your decision making with music and the songs you sing. If you're in a church setup,
Yeah.
that you're singing in church, because God will use those songs to be a blessing to people,
Yeah.
to other people. Always remember that you are a pastor.
Yes.
You may not be called a pastor then, but as a worship leader, you are literally preaching the word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the last thing, man, being a worship leader is probably the best thing you can ever do, because, God says, the Bible says that God can do everything by himself, but there's no one thing he can't do. He can't worship himself. So you can imagine the privilege you have,
Yes.
as a worship leader, that you get to do that.
Yes.
And every time I look at myself and like, man, that's such a big privilege that I have.
Yes.
That God can do this by himself. If I don't do it, That's imagine kama all of us decided today God we want to worship you. Think about it.
It's crazy.
He can't worship himself. He can do everything else, but he can't do that.
Yeah.
So it's just a privilege for us to get to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So if you want to be a worship leader, man, my encouragement, keep going. I'll be honest with you, it's not an easy journey.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ups and downs, but just keep going, keep trusting God. And yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The last one. Ya mwisho producer ananiambia tumemaliza time. Ya mwisho producer ya mwisho hii ni ya mwisho. There are some young people who are looking at you or they look up to you as a producer and you have been very consistent. I know some of them call you their father because you encourage them or mentor.
Yeah.
What advice can you give them?
You already did.
Yeah.
The word consistency.
Yes.
I think that's the biggest thing in life. Everything you do, even production. There are times when I've done a song and I'm like, man, or there are times I go to the studio and I don't feel like doing anything. As much as I have the passion for it, that those days you go and like, man, today I just want to do nothing.
Yeah.
Maybe watch a movie. But then I have a project I have to finish.
Yeah.
So I have to stay consistent. I have to, there are days I work until morning because I had a deadline. So consistency, work ethic, very important in production.
Yeah.
And being a man of your word. One thing I hate about producers, they'll tell you each song, kesho iko ready.
Yeah.
Kesho nafika. 3 weeks later, the song is not even ready. If I tell you I'll have a song in 1 week, I'll do everything in my power to try that song in 1 week. If I don't have it, I'll communicate in advance that I'm not done with the song yet, but I'll get it done by this time. So communication, work ethics, and consistency. Very, very important.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, bro.
I appreciate you so much, even for creating time.
Thank you.
Say hi to your family, man.
Definitely.
And thank you for having me on your wedding, man.
Karibu sana,
You know
you did
what
a
I'm
good
saying?
job.
So, for people who would like to reach you, how can they get to give us your social handles and stuff?
So I'm on Instagram at the Billy Frank. I'm on Facebook, Billy Frank. I'm on Twitter. It's called X nowadays.
Yeah, X,
Still Billy Frank. And then also TikTok.
Okay. Oh, you're on TikTok?
Yeah.
Why are you not going live watermelon to unatwitisha watermelon?
How do people go live on TikTok? I need to learn that.
I'll show you.
Okay.
From today, you'll be telling them watermelon na lions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mazi, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, bro.
It was an honor having you.
Thank you.
That was Billy Frank. Make sure you go check out his new song because he's not telling you guys to go and watch his new song. He has a new song called Yeshua. Billy Frank is one of the baddest producer ever. So make sure you go support him with his music. And until next time, guys, we are out. Peace.